So, dudes, this is not a video that I was eager to make. In fact, as I'm recording it, I'm still considering whether or not I'm going to upload it or not, because I'm not sure what else I can add that other people haven't already said. But I think I should. I think I should talk about this problem. I think I should talk about the cheaters in Siege and how it's going to impact the game moving forward in a very negative way. It already is. Siege has a chronic disease. Siege has a chronic cheating disease. Cheating in a video game is very much like cancer. It permeates itself throughout every organ of the game, and it affects everything. It affects streaming. It affects content creators. It affects the average person who just wants to play the game. It keeps professional players who, if they're not already scrimming or if they're not in a competitive game, if they want to just play ranked with their friends, and a lot of professional players also double on the side as Twitch streamers and content creators, it negatively affects their experience because even they don't want to play the game that they get paid to play unless it's in a controlled environment. Cheating drives players away. Cheating drives player count down. More people leave the game because of cheaters, which leaves less authentic players and more cheaters. More people leave, right? People leave. Cheating population goes up. The cheating population isn't going to be to the point where it supersedes the authentic player population in Siege, at least not yet. At least I never hope so. But there are examples of this happening. Look up any kind of Call of Duty lobby on a console like Xbox 360, PS3 era, and for a time, I don't know if the servers are still up for those games, but there were points at which, if you got a couple of generations of Call of Duties down the line, you couldn't boot up Modern Warfare or World at War, Modern Warfare 2, without exclusively cheaters, because all the current Call of Duty players had moved on. I believe this is happening to Siege right now. How much has cheating in Siege impacted your experience? This is 7,200 votes. I posted this poll 2 hours ago, so that's at about 3:30 today. And 22% of people say it's negatively impacted my experience severely. 35% of people say it's negatively impacted my experience somewhat. So 57% of respondents to this poll have stated that cheating has negatively impacted their experience playing Rainbow Six Siege. That's over half. This has become a significant problem. The polling is even worse on Twitter. How much has cheating in Siege impacted your experience? 36% of people said strongly negative. 38.6% of people out of 542 votes said somewhat negative. That's even more than the YouTube poll. Now, obviously, Twitter, people are going to be a lot more negative about Siege on Twitter. I'm sure if you spend any time on Siege Twitter, you would know that. But the fact that this is where we're at, this isn't good. There's no good way to spin this. There is no PR or marketing way to go about this problem that hasn't already been gone about before. There's no, we're working really hard, or we banned so many cheaters. We banned this many cheaters last month. That's going to ignore the fact that there is a significant amount of negative feeling towards Siege as a result of cheating. I understand the problem is complicated to address. I understand the problem gets harder to address as technology gets better and better, and cheating becomes easier and easier in video games. At the same time, I don't need to be a software engineer to understand that Siege is in an unhealthy state as long as this problem continues. You don't need to be a construction worker to understand that 5 potholes in the street across from your house is bad. We keep being told that the problem is being worked on, but we don't have anything to indicate or measure the degree to which the problem is being addressed or not. Because every time we log into Siege, it's not uncommon every season for me to lose hundreds and hundreds of elo due to rollback. The problem gets worse and worse the higher that you climb elo. When you're at about champion or diamond level, if you're going to play Siege for the night, maybe 3 to 4 hours or so, then you're pretty much guaranteed to run into cheaters at least once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times. If you're stuck in a game with cheaters that might last you about 15 to 20 minutes, if that happens 3 times, that's an hour of your stream wasted, not including the queue times. That's ridiculous. It negatively impacts the Twitch viewership experience and the experience for the Twitch streamer. These are rippling effects that have long-term health consequences for the game. As for mouse and keyboard on console, it sucks. That's more so on whatever console manufacturers are allowing input from other USB devices like mice and keyboard that allow people to use those control methods in their games. But it still sucks. It's obviously not helping. Also, we haven't really had any updates on the streamer mode, aside from we're working on it. I'm glad that Ubisoft is working on it, but it's been a pretty long time. Reading off of Ubisoft's statement on stream sniping relatively recently, and I'm talking about stream sniping because I consider stream sniping to be cheating. As a 6-year-old game, Siege has a lot of technical debts, some of which go against anonymization or don't take into account the problem of stream sniping. So they've openly acknowledged in a public statement that the game is old, maybe too old. Let's look at Counter-Strike, the 5v5 bomb mode, elimination mode game that Siege is loosely inspired from. Counter-Strike released in 1999. 5 years later, Counter-Strike Source came out. I don't really know what was going on here with Counter-Strike Online. I guess that's considered a new Counter-Strike game in the Counter-Strike cinematic universe. And it did take 8 years to go from Source to Global Offensive. But Global Offensive did eventually come out. 2 big patches from now, 2 seasons from now, we're going to approach Siege's 7th birthday. And we're still trying to figure out what's going on with the streamer mode. That's not good. People ask me on streams pretty often, do you think Siege is dying? That's like the new thing to ask Siege content creators now. I don't think Siege is dying, and I don't think that somebody that eats 4 Big Macs a day is dying either. I just know that it's not good for them. It's the same thing here. Siege is not healthy right now. And the longer this problem goes on, the worse the state of its health is going to get. If I hated Siege, I wouldn't be making this video. I wouldn't be critical of the situation that it's in. If I hated Siege, I wouldn't be trying to outline the problem and make it evident to people so that it can eventually get fixed. Because if I hated it, I just wouldn't care. I'd quit the game cold turkey and then just do content for something else. I fucking love Rainbow Six Siege. I'm able to work from home, a privilege that not a lot of people get to have because of Rainbow Six Siege. Moments like this don't happen in other FPS games. How many other games? How many other games are like that? That blend tactical elements with gunplay-based elements in a way that feels fair and thoughtful without holding your hand along the way. Siege rewards prior planning and thoughtful process before you go into the round in a way that other games don't. In this particular match, my KD was dog shit, but we still won the game because of this round that we won, I think in large part because of a roam that I denied. I fought to put an air jab here just to cover my tracks. And we won this game. I could keep going. This was from my Aruni how-to. Aruni is a character that can punch really, really big punch holes really quickly. So I thought to take advantage of that on a very common entry point into this site. That guy had no idea. That guy had no idea I was there. How many other games have moments like that? Can't play ranked and even half the casual matches have cheaters. Mouse and keyboard on console has stopped me from playing the game pretty much completely. I ran into a guy who recognized me at the T-Mobile store. By the way, if you're watching this video, shout out, man. He told me that he's pretty much given up playing on console and ladder climbing because of mouse and keyboard. That sucks. That stinks. I hope a streamer mode comes soon, and I hope that the cheating situation gets addressed. Whether or not that takes a Rainbow Six Siege 2, I don't know. But if it's gonna have to take a Rainbow Six Siege 2 to fix it, then that should probably be at the top of the priority list right now. Unfortunately, Ubisoft juggles a lot of different projects. At a corporate level, they have to manage games like Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, The Crew, all these other titles that they work on, and Rainbow Six Siege is just one out of dozens of different teams. I just hope that the team gets the support that they need to keep this game healthy and keep the population happy. Deuces.